Welcome, my friends, to the Quantum Shamans presented by Moshe, the Ministry of Shamanic Healing and Integration, bringing you insights into the spiritual secrets of the mind and the universe around you. We are here to help you on your spiritual journey and path of healing. And now your hosts, David and Anthony.
Welcome to Quantum Shamans presented by Moshe. I'm Anthony.
And I'm David.
And we're here today with our favoriteest brother, Marcus Layton. Hi, brother Marcus Layton.
Hey.
How are you?
Amazing.
How are you? We're so glad you're here. I love you so much.
Love you, bro.
I've been waiting for you to come here on the show.
Well, here I am.
Yeah. Before we get rolling, Dave, would you like to recite the Moshe Vision Statement?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
The Ministry of Shamanic Healing aims to help individuals heal from spiritual maladies stored as energy in the subconscious that manifest in the form of trauma, PTSD, physical illness, mental health issues, and addiction. These practices include but are not limited to yoga, breathwork, meditation and mindfulness practices, Reiki, sweat lodge ceremonies, sensory deprivation, sacred plants, and any other rituals we collectively decide to establish. We hold ritual ceremonies for our group to heal collectively in a safe space, as well as individual ritual healing tailored to the members of our collective for the purpose of intensive inner work. Our most important responsibility is to help our members integrate their individual and collective experiences in order to ameliorate their spiritual maladies and spread love for the betterment of mankind. Our belief is that our collective consciousness is God. Every living organism has a purpose and is essential for homeostasis. From the single-cell organisms to the observable universe, we are all connected and equally important. We all deserve love, respect, peace, harmony, and forgiveness. Love is the most powerful force in the universe. Love conquers all.
Indeed.
Potent.
Thank you, David.
Thanks.
That never gets old to me.
My pleasure. Me.
That just never gets old to me. I look forward to hearing it. It's very, very nice. Hi, Marcus.
Hey.
How are you today?
You already know. I'm amazing.
Marcus, I don't think I have to lead you too far. Why don't you introduce yourself? Tell everybody who you are. Tell us about Marcus Layton.
All right, I'll tell you about Marcus Layton.
Mm-hmm.
Well, born and raised right here in the great city of Cleveland, Ohio. I grew up in an eastern suburb. Pretty good household to grow up in. There was nothing that I wanted that I couldn't get, from my parents. They kind of spoiled me a little bit because I'm the youngest of four. And the others, my other siblings, were a lot older. See, my mom had me when she was like 40 years old. So in the early 70s, I was just like, whoa, but Here I am, right? So, as growing up, I grew up in church. Mm-hmm. As a matter of fact, my biological father is a pastor, or was a pastor. He has since passed on. But he and we didn't have a relationship.
Right.
So, I still am an athlete. I'm an avid golfer.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the day, it was all about football, that pigskin. So
Yeah. That's right. I was just having a flashback. Aren't you inducted into your high school Hall of Fame or something?
I am.
That's fantastic.
I'm inducted into my high school's Hall of Fame, Athletic Hall of Fame, and they also retired my jersey.
Ooh.
So, cool.
Yeah. When that day happened, I was blown away, and I remember it vividly. It was at a football banquet, right? Mm-hmm. I'm sitting there feeding my face with my favorite thing, cake.
Cake.
Literally, I'm sitting there just feeding my face, and then all of a sudden they pop this thing up and they uncover the jersey. I almost fell out there. It was amazing that they did that for me. Yeah. So
cool.
And I run into people that I haven't seen in 30 years, and they still bring that stuff up to me. They all want to talk, football with me. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
It's cool.
Yeah.
But I have since picked up golf. I am a complete golf junkie.
Yeah, no kidding. I've been to your home.
Oh, man. I love the game so much. As a matter of fact, later today I have a match, because I'm in a golf league and so forth. And, so hopefully not hopefully, I'm going to go ahead and stomp this dude.
Yeah.
So.
How long ago did you start golfing? When did that start for you?
Actually, I'm late, man. I started when I was 26. You know?
Okay.
And I'm 52.
Uh-huh.
You know? So if somebody would have introduced me to the game of golf when I was a young guy,
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't have played football. I love the game that much.
Yeah.
You know, so. But, you know, after high school and a stint in college, I got into sales.
Uh-huh.
You know, and I always tell people that's when I realized God's gift to me is that I can run my mouth with the best of them. You know, and I truly, truly, truly love sales because once you really understand it, you know, and if you're doing it for the right reasons, it's all about helping people.
Yeah, it's just creating relationships.
That's it. That is it. You know, and if you can, you know, the people have a problem or a challenge. I like to use the word challenge. You know, if they've got a challenge, you can help them with the solution, with whatever product, service, whatever it is that you know you happen to be selling. And so that's my thing, though. I love sales. Currently, I am a realtor, licensed here in the state of Ohio. You know, so I get to sling some houses. You know, people buy and sell. And, yeah, so, I mean, that's a short version of
Marcus Layton, realtor, golfer.
Yeah, right on. But the interesting thing, though, about Marcus Layton is, see, we've had a relationship now for, what, about 14, 15 years?
Something like that. Forever. Feels like 100 years. You're asking the wrong guy about time, Marcus. Yeah.
Right? It's
a while, yeah.
It's been
many versions we've rifled through. Yeah.
And I'll never forget the day you came over and we just started having the conversation and you started telling me about what has happened to you. And it all resonated, you know, because, you know, when I first got into sales, you know, I am so grateful for my manager at the time. He introduced me to, you know, things like reading self-help sales books, motivation, all that kind of stuff, right? That stuff just gets, you know, makes me tick, so to speak, you know? And so when Tony was speaking with me, I'm like, yeah, this is, I'm all in, you know what I mean? You know, so it was more like, give me more. And then it was a while after that you came over and you were with Michelle, you and Mary, I believe. And she shared that, you know, Tony's a shaman. I'm like, what? He's a shaman, you know? And I scheduled a session with you before she did.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to know. I'm all in about it. What was that?
Motorcycle.
Yeah. So, yeah, I was all in about what you had.
That was your motor revving.
Yeah.
What's the shaman going to show me?
No doubt. I couldn't wait for that first session because I just wanted to know. And it's funny because you always said to me that I had no fear, and I don't. Still want to go deep. You know, I want to learn as much as I can about me.
Right.
You know, that's it. That's it. And so far, this has been one hell of a ride.
Yeah, that's where the ride started.
It's just getting started.
So talk a little bit about that. What happened to you after that session? Because something profound. I remember some profound changes began not long after that. Some new awarenesses, and talk about that a little bit. What's your experience there? Talk about that's something, you know, with this Quantum Shamans. Talk about your experience with the shaman.
So, it's with me or to me, it all starts with breath work. That introduction to breath work, it is the best thing in the world because it seems like that just opens me like wide open for everything. And that was the first time in my life that I felt the energy. Or at least I might have felt it before, I just didn't know what it was. You know what I mean? Like, and I might be getting off a little bit here, but when my wife Michelle will say, well, you know, you're vibrating, but what does that mean? You know, or what is that? I say, well, the best way for me to describe it to anyone is getting goosebumps without the bumps. I just, it's like, I feel like I light up like a Christmas tree. I really do. And so, you know, we had these sessions and, you know, I started seeing all these colors and things like that. And, at night when I was going to sleep, I'm literally looking at movies. It was amazing because I'm not a big dreamer. I mean, I used to, but for some odd reason, I don't find myself dreaming much anymore. Or maybe I do, I just don't remember it. You know what I mean? But I started having these movies, and then I started seeing a ton of faces, and I learned that those were my spirit guides showing up. And I'm here to tell you, it could be anything, and from an Indian chief, to a little small, frail Asian lady. I mean, I've seen it all. And you've also taught me a lot, meaning, when I'm starting to experience things, to step back and look at it, or there's a message there, focus on, find that message, and that, I mean, it's a constant journey. It's not a race, by any stretch, but I find that when I can really sit down, quiet myself, and just focus or bring my awareness to what's going on, I tend to find a path that seems to work. I've been at sessions, group sessions, where it was so intense for me that all he'd have to do, like my first huge release occurred at a yoga studio, and it's funny because you asked me one simple question. So how'd that make you feel? I broke out crying like a little baby, and I wouldn't stop.
Yeah.
But it felt so cleansing.
Yeah.
Just
open.
Yeah. I was wide open.
Yeah.
Wide open.
Those words were like open sesame.
Literally,
Yeah.
So, not joke sometimes. If you ask me, I'm like, hey,
Yeah.
But
that's the name of the game. We're learning how to feel, remembering. We're remembering how to use our imagination properly instead of imagining all these negative outcomes and everything, bringing that to us. We're getting better at using our imagination. Yeah. And that really comes down to feeling, Yeah. The more you can feel, the more you can do.
That's what we work on, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it just makes me sit back and reflect on a lot of destructive things, that I did to myself in the past and so forth. I no longer drink alcohol. I'm 13 years alcohol free.
Congratulations.
And for folks who knew me in the past, let's say years ago, and they see me now and they don't, it kind of trips them out big time because I love to drink my beer. I did. But however, as a result of no longer drinking alcohol, my life has soared.
Yep, me too. I'm
Same.
about 10 years.
Man,
now
good
for
for
me.
you, man.
Same.
Isn't that amazing? And then on top of it, and then with the spirituality part of this, I'm unstoppable. We're all unstoppable, So.
It's funny. It always comes back. I talk to a lot of people, and stopping with the alcohol is a big gateway. It was for me. I don't get drunk anymore. I'm not interested in that. So in the last 10 months or so, just a few days ago, I had an Irish coffee.
Did you?
Yeah. But that was enough for me. I didn't even really like it. It was like, it was kind of, I just did it,
Yeah.
But I definitely would say, I agree with all those things with alcohol, because what that does is that's just lowering our frequency. Why did I love to drink so much? Because of how it made me feel or not feel.
Yeah,
right?
It's shutting off.
Yeah.
Shut
that
it
energy.
down.
Yeah.
And then as soon as we stop the alcohol, it starts to send us on a new trajectory, because it was so quick for me. Because that's about 8 years for me when my dependency to alcohol ended in 2015. Okay. And it was just a little bit after that, things really started to open and change, and a bigger explosion happened in 2017. And 2018 was pretty strong. 2020 was powerful for everyone. 2021, I became a priest. So on and so forth, and every day feels like it's been a peak experience for, I'd say, last 4 years or better.
Awesome.
And that's amazing.
It is. It really is.
Yeah, I mean, the last 5 years, all I've done is manifest.
Yeah.
Like once the clouds parted and I could see the light, man, I just became unstoppable.
I like that. Unstoppable.
Yeah.
You know, and
Limitless.
Limitless. That's a great word. I agree to that. I know we're limitless. We're just remembering that. As we all remember that, we do it. Keep remembering. I agree. You're limitless. We are limitless.
And you know, as a young guy, teenager, you know, and I'm kind of maybe going back to, like, you know, when I was playing football. Okay,
That's a big point in your life, you know.
it is. It is.
You know, there's a lot there for energy that can be tapped into there. So go ahead, go into there. You're not going back. You're going the way you need to go.
So, as a young dude, the night before the games, I would, you know, see how I was going to perform the next day, right? I could see it. Game day, I either perform that way or better, you know, and at that time, I'm not really understanding what's going on, but I knew that I would see it, you know. And then as I got a little older, you know, and started to learn that, you know, one, you got to believe. You know, you got to believe.
Faith.
Yeah, you got to have faith. You got to believe in what you're doing and that you can do it. And then once, you know, you really got that locked in, we are unstoppable. We do exactly what it is, you know? And I see that every single day in sales or just in general with people, you know? If you believe, because I belief is the key.
A mustard seed size amount of faith can move mountains.
That's right. And it can. And, you know, and as a salesperson, I've been a sales manager, you know, and that's really all I did was pump belief into people.
And that belief became knowing. And now look at you.
Because I'm here to tell you, as far as I'm concerned, put me in any sales situation, or hell, any situation, and I'll be triumphant. There's no situation that I can't handle.
That's a perfect it's perfect mindset to have. I agree. I feel the same way.
Yeah.
They're all opportunities for growth.
Yeah.
That's it.
The more uncomfortable I feel, the more I like it. I do. Like if there's something I got to do or an appointment we're going to, or because Mary's a great leader, she takes me everywhere I need to go. And if I feel any sort of resistance or like the fear frequency in some sort of way, anxiety, anything like that, I'm like, oh, this is going to be good. And I've learned how to tune into that. So sometimes when we're even going places, I tune into that. Like when we come over to your place, when we're headed there, like just recently we were over at your house doing something or other. And on the way there, Mary stopped and took me somewhere where I had some beautiful visions and connections with spirit. And on the way, often on the way to your house, I can have all the feelings, and I'm just aware that an event horizon's coming. Something's happening that creates change. That happens all the time. I feel like every time I'm around you, some sort of shifting happens. It was funny, just when I walked in the door, we both look at each other, and I can see us both have those goosebumpless goosebumps. Hey, man, all I did was you came in a room and I started vibrating. Yeah.
Amazing. It happens all the time. I think it's awesome.
It is awesome. It's super cool. I think it's so cool that at a young age, before you read any of the self-help books, you were already creating manifestation. Your spirit was showing you how to visualize. And this is amazing because this is exactly kind of everything in the teachings I've been doing with people, the live stream I did this morning. Talked a lot about visualization, how important it is. Visualize, because if you can visualize it, that's one aspect. The other aspect is feeling the vision.
Right.
Feel like if you could, so that was probably happening to you inadvertently when you were envisioning yourself running yards. How did it, you could feel it. You could feel it. your breath running. You could feel the adrenaline in your body, being chased, getting those
Running
yards,
over
them
that dude.
yelling your name over the PA, gain of 6 by Layton. You know,
Layton's the ball carrier.
yeah. See,
Yeah.
all those things, and that's amazing. So that makes sense, though, how that pours over into your life.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, that's what wrestling did for me too. I mean, it gave me confidence. It gave me structure and discipline.
no doubt.
It forced me to focus on my practice, my daily practice, keeping my weight in line.
Oh yeah. I attribute
my
a lot of my
endurance.
discipline to my background in wrestling because it's very much like, it's not like the other team sports I played. It's very much, it's a team,
Yeah,
but it's you.
It's just you out.
Yeah, it's you.
There's
So
no
there's no one to
excuse.
blame.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. There's no to shift hey man, you didn't block for me. Like that's not there. That doesn't exist. So, and plus it takes a lot of discipline. I mean, it's a very difficult sport. I mean, just to show up for practice, and it's grueling and making weight, and there's so
That's
many
the hardest
things.
6 minutes of your life.
Yeah, because you're going for it, and especially when you get further out of like dual meets and into sectionals and districts, and now you feel like there's a lot on the line. So like there's all this a lot of energy built up into those things.
I used to think wrestlers were crazy.
You're right.
we were.
Because
You're
of
right.
what I used to see. I might be at basketball practice or something, and I'm seeing these dudes just running stairs with garbage bags on. And, no,
We used to run stairs with people on our backs.
really.
Yeah.
See.
Yeah.
But the crazy thing is, I would have probably wrestled too, but it was during basketball season.
Well, it's not too late. We're
I
in a
was too
setup.
short.
Stop it.
we talked. It's good exercise. Like you don't go full out. Like I like to do that. I was doing it for a while, a couple of years back, with a friend of mine, and he's a wrestler as well. And we would just we wouldn't like take each other down. We would just
Yeah.
kind of tie up and grapple a little
Right.
bit, like duck unders and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Just working off the feet mostly, and moving around. And it's really good for your body and everything. But you're not like going for it. You're not
Right.
like, I'm going to take you down and try to
Yeah.
pin you, and it's not like full out blown out. But something even that easy. There's a lot of value in it, as far as like, especially me, I'm big about training nervous system. I'm like Mr. Nervous System. That's all I talk about.
Yeah.
Right. That's just another one of those things. It's like a great neural training, because you're training your balance and all kinds of things, and you don't really have to go too hard. You don't have to. It doesn't have to be, and that in itself is powerful, because it's two masculine energies training themselves not to push too far. Because that was a problem I had when I was younger. I was training MMA, and when I was training MMA in the gym, I couldn't keep my composure with my sparring partners when I'd get tagged. I couldn't keep it down. So, this is all my unresolved emotional pain and being bullied by my parents and shit when I was a kid. So it would make me lash out, and I go too hard on my partner. So they end up kicking me out. They're like, "Look, man, you just don't have the temperament for this." And they're right, because if you get shook and out of mode there, you can get knocked out.
Yeah.
If you lose your balance in there, that mental balance kind of thing. So they're absolutely
Makes
right.
sense.
They're totally right. But it was just a different thing. Like I don't know if still I can handle strike sports. I don't know if I can get punched in the face and not react yet. I don't know. I don't think so, to be honest. But I have no problem grappling, wrestling.
Yeah.
I've dabbled in
I have
jiu-jitsu.
no interest in getting punched in the face.
Yeah,
My man.
not really. It's been a while, and I don't really miss it. So, yeah,
But I did love the contact sports.
yeah.
I did, because I've always had decent size, and as a running back, one of my favorite things to do was just run over a linebacker. You know what I mean? And you're not supposed to do that. Yeah.
But I'm gonna.
But I idolized, guys like Jim Brown, even though I actually never got to see him play football.
Yeah.
But he was a big, strong, fast dude who would run people over, and I think of Earl Campbell, oh my goodness, this dude had legs like this, so that's kind of how I tailored my running style. I didn't, in high school that is, I did not try to fake out or juke guys. I would run them over. But when I got to the next level, I quickly learned, get out the way, because they're going to murder you.
Yeah.
I had a linebacker literally pick me up and dump me when I went off to college to play football.
Where'd you go to college at?
Well, I started at Grand Rapids Junior College because that's the part I left out early when you asked me about myself. So, yeah, I was a little bit of a knucklehead, growing up a little bit there.
Same.
And
I just like,
does that resonate with you?
oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Very much so. I think that's a common theme.
I had to learn everything the hard way.
Yeah. I wouldn't change the thing.
No, not at all. But
So what happened, Marcus? You said you're a knucklehead. What happened?
it's more or less like, what didn't I do?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
guys, in high school, it was experimenting with things. Like I remember in high school, I started tripping on acid, lots of it. And it was hands down my favorite thing to do back in the day.
How come?
Of course, the visuals and all that. I just felt great on it. I'll say this: I never had a bad trip. Nothing ever, happened to me like that.
We like to call those productive trips.
Yes.
Is that what it is? A productive?
Yeah, bad trip is ego mind's judgment of the trip. It's not what I wanted it to be. Well, listen, the medicine gives you what it needs to give you.
Well,
So for me, the things that people may call bad trips that have things that happen that are difficult have been my greatest because they've shown me how to handle stress.
Right on.
Yeah.
Let's see, and then of course I was smoking marijuana.
Hey, she likes to be called Mother Sister Cannabis.
Mother
okay.
Sister Cannabis. I remember, guys.
Not marijuana.
Check this is good. So the first time I ever smoked, I was at a play
Yeah.
at school. The first play and the last play that I ever did, and I had the second leading male role in this play. So there was a break at practice, and this dude. And this guy I know, he's like, "Hey, you want to get high?"
Marcus.
And he was
Want to get high?
he was a couple years older, and I was like, "Yeah, sure." So I did, and felt great. Went back to play practice and had a ball.
Uh huh.
I'll never forget that day.
You're getting too far away from your mic.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm just letting you know because I'm listening to you.
Yeah.
It's not like on a gantry kind of thing where it follows your face around. Like,
Well, it should.
these are we're working on it, Marcus. Help us. You're a great manifester. Hopefully, you can help us manifest realities where we have everything to create a new world. I believe in you. I know who you are.
That's scary.
Is it?
No, see, it's cool because one thing that I definitely learned with you, and it's like you can ask me a question, and it's like I want to lie to him, this early on, but I won't. I won't.
I appreciate that.
Because one, I know he'll know whether I'm bullshitting or not.
I do. I might not tell you I know,
Yeah,
but I do.
I know. Trust me, I know. And that doesn't help me.
Right.
And I know if there's anything that gentlemen like yourselves want to do is you genuinely want to help.
Yeah.
And how can I get help if I lie to you?
Right. Perfect.
That's
Yeah, because if you lie to me, you're just lying to you.
bingo. Because I am you and you are me.
Correct.
Woo!
Ric Flair showed up. Woo!
Yeah.
I derailed you from college. You went to college, and then you're talking. I don't think we got through you want to get high. That's like the last thing I remember. Yeah.
That just popped in my head, and I.
So you did. So how old were you? Like 19?
13.
13. Oh, you're 13. That wasn't in college when you smoked weed.
No.
Oh, okay. So let's go back. We're gonna go back to 13. So you're 13. You got the. I think I was 11 the first time I smoked weed.
I was 12 or 13.
Yeah, I was 11, and I remember I was in 6th grade, and I thought it was so fun because these 8th grade dudes were like, "Hey, man, you want to come hang out with us?" And it was just like some total like swag, like poopy weed. It was brown. I'm not even sure it was weed.
Oh my god.
But man, I just had really itchy eyes and a sore throat, and I was just like, wow. don't know if I like this.
I was in 8th grade.
Yeah.
8th grade, yep.
Uh-huh.
And, just went to a whole nother level then. It just progressed because by the time I got to college, I was an old veteran.
Ah.
But there came a time in my life where it's like I just stopped smoking, but I kept drinking.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah, me too.
Drinking. I definitely kept drinking, But man, that's crazy.
When I smoked weed, the beer didn't taste good anymore, so I just gave up the weed.
I rarely smoked weed at all after like high school, and it was mostly cocaine and vodka.
Oh.
And then that was until I stopped drinking, and then cannabis showed up in my life, and I learned about what it was. I had a full knowledge of its medicinal ability before I started using it. So I already had like this developed relationship before it showed up in my life, and it just kind of took me deeper into it. And it was deeply transformative because of the way I used it. I didn't use it as an escape, because it can be. All things can be used that way. All medicines. Alcohol even has the potential to be medicine if used properly.
Really?
It's just, it does. Everything does. All of these compounds on the planet have capabilities to open certain frequencies of our awareness if we use them properly.
Makes sense.
Right.
Makes sense.
So that was the thing for me with the cannabis was when it started, it was already, before I was a shaman, I already had like this ceremonial thing going on with it when it showed up in my life. Yeah, but before that, I had no interest. Like, what? That'll mess up my cocaine buzz. I don't want any weed. I would, every now and then, if I was partying for like 2 or 3 days straight, and somebody had some weed, I would smoke it.
Yeah.
So that way I could sleep. Yeah. But not because I liked it.
Oh.
I don't like it. I
sleep.
Yeah, that was it. So it was total disconnected to me until then. That was 2015. And since then, I've graduated and I've become
Willie Nelson's grandson.
That's right. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
Steamroller.
Gotta get my bong out. I have a really nice bong.
Here
Good.
we go.
Can we test drive it?
Mm-hmm.
Please. I'd love to.
Absolutely.
We should do it on camera. We'll probably get in trouble somehow though.
That's funny.
Post podcast, we can give it a.
The Be Real. Be Real from Cypress Hill. He was like he was like a god to me when I first started, because he got me into that was the awareness that brought me into smoking pot, smoking cannabis. Was I happened to venture across these things called strain reviews.
All right.
So he's Dr. Green Thumbs. He has a bunch. Yeah, he has a bunch of dispensaries all over California and other countries and things.
Really?
So yeah.
I didn't know that about Be Real.
Oh yeah, he's Willie Nelson. He might be Willie Nelson's spirit animal.
Between him, Snoop, and Seth Rogen.
Yeah. One time they had like them all together. They had like Method Man and Redman and Willie Nelson and Snoop Dogg and Be Real, and they were all sitting at a table. It was like a pot summit.
Oh my God.
And everybody asked, they were like, "Who's the biggest stoner here?" And everybody points at Be Real. Yeah. Because then he started doing something really fun called the Smoke Box, where he would, it was like a car, it was a podcast. So it was a Cadillac, or it was a couple other ones, but it ended up being a Cadillac, like an 80s big Cadillac, big Cadillac. And so there's some cameras set up, and they all get in the car, and there's people in the back and the front, and they start blazing. Really? And everybody gets ripped, and then they have, like this kind of conversation. So I guess we could do it. Totally could be legal. It's, we're just not doing it in this location.
Yeah.
We need to do it in a private place where there's an undisclosed location.
Yep.
So that's it. That we already know what we're going to do. Two Pacos and a pastor smoke box edition.
Awesome.
But it was so cool because one time Joe Rogan came on. Joe Rogan, I thought he was kind of more like a seasoned stoner by the way he talks about marijuana or cannabis and his connection with it and everything. Yeah. Well, he got geeked like on there. He got on there and he said later on, he's like, I was high before I got in the car. And then when he got in the car, you can tell he didn't know where he was. He was disoriented and like all these things. And it was just, but they totally smoked the car out. Like it's like a smoke box.
Oh my goodness.
But he was like a god to me because he's the one that showed me through the strain reviews. It got my attention, and I was like, and he'd smoke the weed, and then he'd give it green thumbs. Like 3 green thumbs is good weed, and if it's bad, he'd put it out on the camera or put it out and be like, just give it a boo. He'd be like, I have 0 green thumbs. You know, sometimes a red thumb. They would get if it was really bad, because people would send him their products and stuff. Like, hey, could you do a strain review of this? And he'd just be straight up.
Yeah.
You know, he'd just tell you how it is. Like, this is really good. He'd tell you about the terpene profiles. You know, he's has lots of wisdom and cultivation and things like that. So he'd share his expert point of view about it. And I found that to just be so intriguing, and that's what brought me into my, like, hey, maybe I should try cannabis again. And I manifested it because it was like a few weeks after that, I was doing a job for a guy at his house. His name's Joe to go. We call him Joe to go because he always asks you if you want a joint to go. He'd have like this pickle jar full of pre-rolls, and he'd come up to you and he'd crack it open or run it under your face, and he'd be like, want a tip? And usually I'd say no, because I was on my way to the bar to go get me an 8-ball and a bottle of vodka. So I was like, that this day, since I didn't drink anymore, and I was like, all right. So I took one with me and I took it home, and me and Mary smoked 2 puffs a day for like 2 weeks. We got stoned every day for 2 weeks, and it changed my whole reality.
Wow.
Cannabis. Try it today.
Cannabis. Super sour. Did I say that?
Yeah. So college, we were at 13. I smoked some weed. In college, I was a pro weed. So what happened in college? You
said you had to start out at junior college because you were a knucklehead.
Yeah, right. So now, when I was in high school, I was recruited by, guys, I had the coaches from the University of Georgia at the time, and they probably still are, like a running back factory. You know what I mean? Sitting at my kitchen table talking with me and my mom. You know, I started getting my first recruiting letters and stuff when I was in 10th grade. You know, boxes of it's crazy, and at that time, I was just like, they want me. You know what I mean? Because I knew I could play the game. I just didn't look at myself as one of those elite, football players.
You weren't able to visualize that, huh?
But I knew I was good.
Yeah,
you know
that
what
matters.
I mean? I knew I was really good, I guess, But that was with anything that I did athletically. I swam first. I was a swimmer.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't think I knew that.
You didn't know that, did you?
No, that doesn't sound familiar to me.
Yeah, I used to be a swimmer.
But now I'm picturing you in a Speedo.
Oh, don't do that. But yeah, so
that's it, Marcus. Speedo for the next ice bath. Guys, this is Speedo bath, okay?
Yeah. I remember my first swim meet. I smoked everybody. It's just, that was my thing. Actually, my mother had this dream, because I was so into swimming, that she wanted me to be the first black Olympic swimmer. And because I don't think that happened until 1 or 2 Olympics ago, Summer Olympics or something like that. Anyway, So, but I discovered the pigskin, and I was off and running with football. Swimming went to the wayside. Like, I'm cool. By the way, though, because I was such a swimmer, I used to be a lifeguard, too. One of the best gigs I ever had.
It's like Baywatch.
Yeah. All right, where was I? Okay, so football. So I go off to this junior college in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Okay, and as a matter of fact, the 2 years before I got there, they had won the national championship. Okay, and then the year before, they had lost in the national championship. So I wasn't going to some, BS JC to play football, because everybody there was just like me, all Division I recruits. You know what I mean? That for some reason, they didn't get in. Heck, I'll tell you guys a quick story. So back in the day, they had this thing called Proposition 48. You remember Prop 48? You guys remember that?
Mm-mm.
Where all you had to do was score either on an SAT or ACT, right? Guys, I went to my ACTs drunk as a skunk. from the night before.
Oh, no.
Yeah, me and my buddy, we were actually with the football team because our season was over, and then we were just having a big party. You know, the bottles of tequila with the worm at the bottom?
Yeah, mezcal.
So, you know, the word is you eat the worm, you hallucinate, right? So me and my buddy, we got to the bottom, and we both ate the worm. And I'm thinking to myself now, like, of course you're going to hallucinate. You get to the bottom of that bottle. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But that next morning, I had to go take my SATs. And my mother, when she took me there, and later she's like, you reeked of alcohol. After every section on the test, I would put my head down and go to sleep. You know what I mean? I was just... So, to make a long story short, I ended up at junior college.
Well, see, that makes more sense now. Like, okay, well, so I got drunk and I didn't pass my test, and so I ended up at junior college.
Horrible. But anyway.
Perfect, by
all
the way.
learning experiences, right?
Yeah, there's nothing that ever goes wrong.
So even up there, you know, I was a starter. You know, things were great, you know, until here's another crazy story. So I decided, now when I get up there, this is, you know, my first time kind of away from home. You know, I'm going to play college football, you know, so I'm thinking in my head, oh, these guys, they don't smoke, they don't drink, they don't do this, they don't do anything, right? Boy, was I wrong.
Mm-hmm.
These dudes.
College party.
Right. But I didn't think that the football players would be doing it in season. So, yeah, to make a long story short, I go out with these guys, and I get so wasted, right? I missed the bus the next morning to go to one of our games. So I missed the game. It was an away game out of state. I missed the game, and see, I didn't have a whole lot of consequences with my drinking back in the day. You know,
Yeah.
I used to just get little slaps on the wrist kind of when I mess up. But the coach only made me sit a quarter for the next game, and then I was back in the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But anyway, so I went to Grand Rapids, played football there for a year. Then I transferred to Central State University, which is in Southern Ohio. It's in Wilberforce, Ohio, close to Dayton. And because I transferred, I had to sit a year, you know, because of my eligibility clock started, you know, so I had to sit a year. And then in that 1 year, me at Central State University, to make a long story short, I ended up with a case. You know, I got charged with receiving stolen property. And, so that was the end of my school. And I'll never forget that day I told my mom, I said, hey, you know, Mom, I don't think this school thing is for me. You know? Even though, guys, and I'm telling you, I knew I could have played football in the NFL. You know what I mean? I knew it. No doubt in my mind about that. But obviously, that wasn't the Creator's path for me.
No, he didn't want you to get brain damage.
And I always say to people, you know, thank God no social media back in the day, because I'd have been on it, man.
Yeah, we're lucky, man. All the stupid mistakes we had.
Oh.
So from the view of the hummingbird, we were kind of talking about angles of mindset before we started, the view of the hummingbird, the ability to extract the nectar from everything. What's the nectar you would extract from these stories you have told us, these things? And because it just kind of ends there with that part of the story, like, but everything means something. So everything that happened to you into that time, what do you think, you know, and some of that might be new to you in this moment right now because we're sitting here, you know, so allow yourself to go into that a little bit. What do you think you gained? Because that's what it is. You want to look at all those things as gain. You've lost nothing. You've only gained. What did those things give you, Marcus?
I would say that one of the things that with football that, you know, and I took it very serious was mindset. Man, you know, because again, it was like, okay, it's me against whoever out there. So I was able to tap into, well, I'm going to impose my will on you. You know what I mean? So it really helped with my mindset that it's like, I can't lose. You know, that's not going to happen. But then again, with, you know, and of course the training, the working out, the this and that, the other, But football, when that stuff was over, my world opened up even more so. And again, I like I always say, I finally realized God's gift to me, which was to be able to communicate with people. I can talk to anybody. You know, I had to communicate with my teammates. You know, what are we doing here? You know, especially at practice, because I wasn't the football player who was out there, you know, doing backflips when he scored a touchdown and all that nonsense. It was a business as usual kind of a thing with me. So again, my mindset. And I guess as we were talking, I told you guys earlier, visualization, my imagination. But learning to communicate, I believe, has been one of my biggest assets in life, you know, because everything that I do in a career sense is all about communication. And I've had some great successes with that, you know, being able to run my mouth. I love saying that. Folks were asking me earlier, so what's your thing? Oh, I run my mouth. That's what I do. However,
Take a break here.
We're going to wait for a break. We'll be right back. Welcome to Quantum Shamans. Marcus, we were just saying how we don't remember where we were, but you have a beautiful story you want to share.
Yeah, I have something I want to share. So when I first got into sales, my first sales gig was I sold something, if you were to look at it, you would call it a vacuum cleaner. But no, it was a cleaning system, right? And that particular manager, you know, he's the guy that showed me, you know, you need to read in your profession, you know, and introduced me to amazing men like Zig Ziglar, who's hands down my hero in sales. I had the opportunity to have breakfast with Zig years ago. It was amazing. But when I used to watch Zig Ziglar and the Les Browns and the Brian Tracys and all these, you know, the Tony Robbins, these guys, you know, on stage doing their thing, I used to say to myself, I could do that. I could do that, right? And I mean, I could feel that I could do that, but I never have. And it was always a goal of mine to become a motivational speaker, right?
You are a minister, correct?
I am. An ordained minister, yeah. And
there's 3 of us here now.
And I just never went down that path, you know, just never did it. But it's always there, you know, it's always there. Because what I do as for a living, you know, when I'm in my sales world, I'm presenting, I'm motivating, you know what I mean? I'm doing my thing. And so I did have the opportunity last year. I did my first keynote, and I was scared to death, but I did it because, well, one, I always remember this sales trainer. His name is Brian Tracy. And Brian Tracy said, you know, you know, when you get those butterflies, right? When you get them, the key to that is to make those butterflies fly in formation, right? So the fear kind of just goes away. And I've always remembered that, and that was the coolest thing to me, you know. You just, because you fed your mind the proper material, you know what you're doing, blah, 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 blah. Now you'll make those butterflies fly in formation. So I did my first keynote. It felt amazing to do that, to speak to those folks, and I did another one. And so this past Sunday, my wife and I, we went to a meditation in Avon, right by the lake. It was Leanne Rafton's
Walker Road Park, maybe?
Something like that. I don't really remember, but if I were to get in my car, I could drive us there. But I don't know the name of the park. But we're right on Lake Erie, and, you know, the meditation went down. I went somewhere else. And, you know, when I came back, there was like a little discussion, a group discussion thing going on. And I wasn't saying a word. And normally I will contribute to that type of a conversation. I didn't say a word. It's like I was locked in on the trees and the lake and everything, and then something hit, and it's like almost a voice said to me, "What are you afraid of? You can do it." And so when everybody, dispersed, it was over. I stood there and I was talking to Leanne and my wife, and I told them that I had made the commitment to be that public motivational speaker. Boom, done. That day, I'm doing it. And shortly thereafter, guess who hit me with a text? You did. For this opportunity right here. So all I'm going to say to y'all is just watch out, because here I come.
This reminds me of our first session. Remember our first session? I said, Marcus, you're meant to speak.
Yep. Yep.
We've had visions of us in huge stadiums and fields with thousands of people. And you're there speaking.
La 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 la.
Can't wait.
Yeah, this is all practice.
Because I know that I can change lives.
Yep.
I know I can. I know I can touch people and change their lives just with the words that are flowing out of my mouth.
Frequency.
There it is. Because, I'm pretty reserved right now, but I'm a pretty jacked up, enthusiastic kind of a dude, especially when I'm doing my craft. Because I just get so excited about it, because there's nothing better than this. Don't get me talking to a stranger about breathing. or the ice baths, I'm not a fan of cold showers.
I'm not either.
Give me an ice bath any day. But
the cold showers, the in between. See, in between, that's the daily practice. If you're not getting cold every day, you're shortchanging your nervous system. Plain and simple.
Okay, you got to put it like that. Okay. Man,
every day. I can't even say the shower's cold right now. I get in there and it's like, it's cool. I don't think it's cold right now. So it's going to be a little while before it gets cold again. That's the cool part. That's the only thing I really look forward to about fall. Is it starts to get colder. And then by like January, February is when it gets really nice and cold and you get in the shower and it's like, yeah, this is it. And like you let it run on your face and you get like a brain freeze. That's good. Right now it's not cold enough to do any of that stuff.
Alrighty then.
Now's a good time to start. Get in there.
Okay.
You could do it, Marcus.
I know I can.
Practice your speech while you're in the cold shower. Look at that. Now that nerves of steel.
You see what he just did?
Calmness. Yeah, I just created shamanic practice for you. That's kind of what I do.
Your attention's somewhere else and not on the cold water.
Right. Because it's nothing but the mind that gets in the way of that.
Yeah.
That's cold, But I'll dive into an ice cold swimming pool in a heartbeat. You know what I mean?
Or a nice tub when I see you just slip right into there.
Yeah.
And then get out and you do a Heisman pose. Yeah. Of course he does.
It comes full circle, doesn't
Yeah.
it? How did that work? Man, heck, I will be talking to some football players.
Yeah. Good.
Showing them how powerful they are.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, so I mean, that's going to be one hell of a ride. I can't wait. I've been spitballing some stuff with my wife, and the bottom line is I just need to just do it. And I was like, what platform should I do it on? Or just to start. And I'm just looking forward to the opportunity to just touch people, just to touch them with words.
No, we're starting a series of different shows and content. So.
Yep. So you're going to have lots of opportunities.
Good.
Lots of opportunities. Hey, who's making that noise, man?
Did I make a noise?
I don't know.
Because I will say yes. Because I know it's like when I was asked to speak, I didn't even think about it. I said yes. You know what I mean? And I know when I say yes to things, good stuff happens.
Say yes.
Because I have been a dude to like, nah, I'm good. You know what I mean? But no, let's move forward, right? Let's move forward, Yeah.
How's life feel to you now, Marcus? How's your life feel to you?
Amazing. It does. I find that I am so much more, can I say, relaxed, at peace. You know, now don't get me wrong, you know, stuff happens, you know, that are challenging, and it gets me going. You know, because I always joke with people, you know, I'm a Gemini, so, you know, the twins. So here's Mark and Marcus. And when Mark comes out, it ain't cool. You know what I mean? It's just not cool. But I keep that dude at bay a lot. I do. Yeah, just things are just so, I am so grateful for so much more. And in my past, I didn't even know what gratitude was. Seriously. I mean, hell, I inked myself with this. Inhale love, exhale gratitude. You know, that's powerful stuff. And even love, just to talk about love. You know, when I met Michelle, I'll say this, when I met Michelle, number one, she blindsided me because, you know, those stories about, you know, love at first sight, that's what it had to be, because previous to Michelle, I never used to get butterflies meeting women. I got butterflies like it was crazy, you know, like, oh my gosh, you know, like a little kid, you know, wanting to talk to a girl.
The vibration of the gut feeling. Yeah.
Wow.
Boy.
But, well, I just lost my train of thought. Thing about love at first sight. Love. That's what it was.
Love.
You know, every time she talked to a family member and they got off the phone, you know, she would say, I love you. Right? I thought that was the weirdest thing in the world. I couldn't wrap my head around that because that's not how I grew up. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, recently it's like I've had certain experiences where my heart has opened up. Like, I'm about to start crying thinking about how my heart has opened up. And it's just like, I love my wife so much. I love life and everything that it's, I'm like, oh man, here it goes.
Let it in. Love is a frequency of consciousness, and we can invite it to us anytime.
It's
amazing.
I can't describe how I feel. It is just, it's overwhelming at times.
Right.
You've seen it.
We can feel it.
I'm experiencing it through you right now.
Wow.
It's like balancing a clutch is how I kind of describe it, because it is really overwhelming because it's such a high level of beauty and ecstatic joy. And then there's this underlying thing that's hard for us to notice, but it's in there. Part of what makes us cry is there's an internal part of us where we believe we're not worthy to feel this good. And it's paying attention to that and letting that go so you can be worthy. And then it's more of an acceptance, because part of the crying is, you know, when we cry in joy, that's a beautiful thing, and that's totally okay, and it's a great thing. But it's also understanding that part of the reason of the emotional reaction is a subconscious part of us that doesn't believe we deserve it. Or we're judging ourselves like, why don't I see this all the time? You know, like, why don't I know this all the time? Like, and we don't know that because it's subconscious kind of thing that rolls it back in there.
Right.
But feeling it, like you said, that's it's like joy, bliss, ecstatic,
Ecstasy.
Yeah, I mean, those are all just words, but it's just like this overwhelming vibration of life.
Yeah.
God is another word I give it. Creation. Frequency.
You know, there's an event this weekend at my home, and I could only imagine what's going to go down there.
Every time's been something amazing.
Yeah, it has.
Every time.
It really has, yeah. And I love that community.
Yeah.
It's something being just in a room or in a space with like-minded individuals, you know, all, how can I say it? Don't want to necessarily use all there for a common goal, but we are.
Yeah.
To grow and expand, right?
Yeah. Common
Create
vibration.
Community.
It's actually, that's a kind of a misnomer. It's actually people of different mind and of like frequency.
Okay. I get it.
I know what you're saying. That's just an expression that we're used to saying, and I used to say that. Looking for like-minded people, I'm like, no. No. I want people that have their own minds and their own thoughts and their own ways that vibrate with the same thing. Like you said, it's not a goal, it's a common vibration. That's source or light, or another word is Christ. I use the word Christ as a frequency of consciousness because that's the understanding I have of it. Jesus or Yeshua was a man at one point, and he brought here into this space Christ light. Brought it in. He was teaching his disciples, even empowered his disciples with Christic light. Yeah. And other people. Like all the people he touched and helped, he brought Christ light into their life and understanding and knowing.
Right on.
That's what the Messiah's job was,
right on.
To bring that in. He wasn't here to save the world. He was here to inject love.
Right.
And then for us, we see it as time. We think that's 2,000 years ago, but all time is now. And his teachings are working now, I know, because he's right here with us. Yeshua's alive. He's just a spirit now. Right. And one of my favorite spirit guides. He's taught me so much. He's taught me the frequency of forgiveness. Something I couldn't understand before. I thought it was something you give somebody, and I thought I forgave the people that I was. Nope. And then he showed me, and the best thing he said to me was, Anthony, there is no justifiable resentment. And I was like, whoa. I became aware that, oh man, I am holding on to some stuff, aren't I? Because I've justified it in my subconscious mind. What am I holding on to? And then it was like a miracle happened. As I sat there and meditated and connected with Yeshua, he showed me how to take all of that stuff, all of that heaviness, and hold it in my hands. Like he showed it to me as two big heavy bags. There was these two big heavy bags, and they were so heavy, they were just tearing up my fingers holding on to it. That was all my resentment. And he said to me, Anthony, open your hands. And I opened my hands, and I could feel all that leave me in that moment. It was taken from me. Wow. And in that moment, it's the first time I ever witnessed or felt the frequency consciousness of forgiveness. Because just like all other things, like gratitude, it's a frequency of consciousness. And that's what I try to teach people to do, is pay attention to the feeling. Like how you said, Michelle, butterflies. Butterflies is a word that creates this physical idea. What is it really? It's a vibration in my belly. Yep. Right? Yep. Just like gratitude. I'd say, Marcus, what are you grateful for? Right? Maybe it's Michelle. There's some butterflies again, do you see? And then you can feel, and then you can spread that around your body, and then you can send it out from you. You can put it out into the world around you. And then this puts us in balance, or Aini, as in our tradition we call it, balance with the world around us. And this is the Christ. Oneness with all. Cool, huh?
Amazing. It is. It's amazing. And, like, it's funny growing up in church. The religion and spirituality, I learned, they're night and day. Night and day, and
the more spiritual I become, the more I understand the writings. I'll never agree with the religion,
right?
Because that's man-made and created by man,
right?
But it can lead one to their spirituality if used properly. Because I can tell you now, as an omnist and as an open source energy person, I can tell you that the Christian Bible is one of the most complete truths known to man. It's not meant to be read literally. That's where most people make mistakes. They're reading it with their mind. And that only knows its past, and it assigns meaning to words. Jesus spoke in parables. And as he spoke in parables, and his disciples asked, Jesus, why do you speak in parables? And he made it clear to them, for those who have ears to hear, let them hear. Meaning, it's not meant for everyone. It's meant if you have the ability of frequency. It's not these ears. Your ability to absorb the frequency. So that's the parts of the scripture that can't be lost in translation or ran over by kings and Englishmen and all those things. The underlying truth is within the parables. It's understanding energy. Jesus was giving us a blueprint to quantum physics. That's what he was showing us. It just has to show up, and it's in language that we need to decipher intuitively. So now when I read, and I'm big right now, I'm studying the book of Matthew.
Okay.
The book of Matthew is very, very powerful and has deep, deep resonance with what's happening now in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So when I sit there and I read it, I don't just look at the words, I feel the words.
Mm-hmm.
And then Christ speaks to me.
Mm.
Christ, the vibration of my connection to Source.
Right.
It speaks.
Mm.
And it shows you
Mm.
what these things mean.
Mm.
Far beyond the old English people get trapped in words.
Right.
Language is a limit.
Mm.
Our true language is vibration.
Mm.
Thank you. That was a channel. It was talking through me again. As it talks through you. And I wanted to talk through you, Marcus. Here's your shot. If you had a message for the world, if you could just say some words right now, and you don't got to do this right away. I'm giving you the question. And me and Dave, what we're going to do is we're going to do like kind of some commercials while you have time to sit here and connect to your higher mind and your spirit.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
If you had a message for the world, Marcus, what would it be? And while you let that ruminate, go ahead, close your eyes, drop in, slow your breath down. And Dave, you're going to talk about pan stackers, I think.
Yes. I can do that. Check out my my invention. It's called Pan Stackers.
It's awesome.
It's at www.panstackers.com. It's revolutionary for the restaurant industry for storage and organization. It can help a lot of people and help us create abundance to help more people.
Yeah. Visit the website. There's a little movie kind of about how they work.
Yes. We are... I'm selling them on Webstaurant Store. They're the largest online platform in the world, basically, for restaurant equipment. That's where you can find them. And you can also visit Sacred Waters in North Olmsted, and I'll even give you a demonstration.
Ah, you got a demo. Good idea, Dave.
Yes.
Demos are good. Yeah. Yeah, and speaking of Sacred Waters, you can visit Sacred Waters here in North Olmsted or also in Lakewood.
Yep.
If you're interested in trying out some kava. Dave, what is kava? Talk about that for a second.
Kava is a root that grows in the South Pacific Islands, like Hawaii and Fiji, and it's been used ceremonially and socially for over 3,000 years. It's a wonderful, wonderful plant. It's a community building plant, and it's doing just that all over the country, all over the world, and it's bringing people together. And unifying them, unlike alcohol, which kind of divides people.
It can bring people together that are drinking and separate them from their families and things. Yeah, alcohol been destroying families since it started.
Long time.
And speaking of Sacred Waters here in North Olmsted, visit us. Come hang out with us Sundays at 1:30 for Moshi, Ministry of Shamanic Healing and Integration meetings. They're very, very powerful. We had a really nice one last week. And what I'm going to start doing, I did last week after the meeting, I'm going to hold like a little class. So I did one last week and some people hung around. And what I did is I did kind of a little meditation in class with the people that were here, teaching them how to connect to their spiritual guidance. That's kind of a very necessary thing and point where we're at right now in our time of spiritual evolution is connecting into our higher mind or our spiritual guidance, because you'll hear that often, and we hear that often in here. People that are on the path and on the journey, they're like, a lot's changed. I just don't know what I'm supposed to be doing next. And that's because this mind doesn't know, and that's just your sign that it's time to change. Whenever you feel stuck in your life, if you feel stuck, if that word comes to you, it just means it's time for you to make an internal change. And if you make that internal change, you'll go past that with ease, with joy and ease. Moshi.
Yes, and we just got an in-house massage table, so we'll be able to facilitate some healings.
And there's a new sound healing piece of equipment coming too.
Yes.
We won't tell you about what that is yet. We'll let you find out for yourself, or maybe we'll demonstrate on one of these live streams soon.
Yes.
Little sound healing. That would be
Wonderful
nice.
idea.
Yeah. Also, please visit thepositivepineapple.org. You can check us out there. We have lots of events happening. Follow us on Eventbrite. If you go on Eventbrite and go ahead and click and follow that page, we're using that as the main connection to all of our primary events. So if you want to know what's going on in our events, find us on Eventbrite. Visit our website. Come to one of our events. We even have still donation-based events happening out in Grafton. It's a big place. Come on out there. What else?
Moshi events. We're
Moshi events.
More and more of those.
Yeah.
So
healing
come check
circles.
those out.
I think the next one we're going to be doing some tree healing. I want to do a Moshi event. And I want everyone to come out and work with their ancestry. Makes sense, right?
Perfect.
And we all need connection into our ancestry because we were talking about this earlier, I think, before we came on. The truth is that we are the collective energy of all that have come before us. Like Dave has he has like a breakdown of it takes 2 parents, 4 grandparents, 8 great, all the
It's
it breaks
like over
down
4,000
for 12 generations.
400 years.
Yeah.
And we hold all of that wisdom inside us.
Yeah, before that even. So without doing the math, just realize you are all that.
That's
have come
only
before
400
you.
years.
Yeah, which is like what?
And then it just keeps doubling and doubling and doubling, just like
Amazing.
a fractal, because that's what we are.
Yeah, indeed. I love you, Fractal.
Love you too.
All right, I think that's it for the commercials.
Ah,
So now that we did the commercials, now we want to hear the man speak. Marcus,
Yep.
I'll just repeat the question. I know you know what it is.
okay.
But just in case anybody just kind of fast forwarded through our bullshit.
Right on.
And they're like, oh, God, I just want to hear what Marcus has to say. What are you guys doing? Well, here it is. Marcus.
Yes.
If you had one message for the world that you could right now say this right here, this is your portal. See that camera lens?
I see it.
That's an energetic portal for you to send out your frequency into the world. Your highest, greatest light, your greatest message that you can channel and bring to you from God's source itself. What would that be?
I'll start with this. And this is something that I don't recall whether I read it or I heard it just the other day. And it made so much sense to me that we are perfection unfolding. Oh, that is amazing. We all have challenges. We all have past traumas and things that need to be healed. And all you have to do is get a foundation. You just need to start, to really learn and dig deep about what those things are. Why did they happen? Why do they make you feel this way? So you can just continue to evolve and grow. And one of the biggest things that I have learned is that we have to learn to be grateful for the smallest things that occur in our daily life. And then that will just open up so much more, because every single living being on this earth has so much power. However, we don't know how to tap into it yet, but we need to just take the time to learn how powerful we are, if you're not afraid. You need to learn how to tap into that power and then be a light to the entire world. And what that'll do is that'll just continue to spread love. Because if you can touch one person and then they can touch somebody and then it just keeps rolling. It just keeps rolling.
Systemic.
Yeah, it just...
Mycelium.
So my message really in a nutshell is, regardless of what has happened in the past, in your present, there's a way forward. There's definitely a way forward. And it's with love, it's with gratitude. And just go deep. Go in and go deep. Because I want to know, I want to know what's going on, and just unpack all that stuff. But that would be my message. That who cares what has happened, because obviously, I mean, it affects us in our subconscious that we don't even realize what's going on, But we can still unpack that stuff, grow from it, and continue to go out there and be a light to the entire world. Be contagious. Be contagious. Yeah.
That's how light spreads.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I agree with that message. Now is all there is ever.
Everything else is just a story, and you do not have to agree to it.
Boom.
The most important step of your journey is the step you take now.
I like it. I like it.
I like the message. Marcus, what do you want to happen? What are your goals, aspirations? What do you want to happen? Let's put that out there. Let's manifest that. What do you want to happen? What do you want?
Okay. So,
What do you really want?
well, let me do it like this. Let me some segments here. Well, in my spiritual life, I want to, and I will, do some training with you to become a full-fledged Paco.
Cool.
All right.
Yeah, because that's going to teach me a lot of the things that I know I need to learn to continue my growth. But that training is something that it's important to me. And
Sort of like a continuation. Like we've had enough sessions and everything where you have a basic kind of shamanic understanding, and that kind of is part of your life now.
Yeah, big time.
Just organizing the energy.
Well, there it is. There it is. And I know that. Let me stick on what would I like to happen?
Yeah, what do you want to happen?
So that this I want to elevate the speaking. Whether it's, and I'm not talking about just me running my mouth on social media.
No, right.
I'm talking about.
Yeah, we're going to be in front of large groups.
Engagements.
That's what I'm talking about.
And when you say that, you're helping us create energy in the field.
Awesome.
So we can manifest that.
Okay.
What does it look like? What does it feel like? Yeah, that's where you're going. Yeah, do you see that?
Oh.
You feel that?
Oh. Oh, man. I do.
If we build it, they will come.
That's right.
And then his community and my community and your community.
And everyone's community.
One community. And then all of those people's communities become our community, and it just keeps growing and growing and growing like a fractal.
Fractal.
And it's like you see it every day, that people, they're looking for something. They're looking for it. You know what I mean?
They just don't know what's inside them.
Yeah, right? I was telling somebody that just the other day. It's like, and I felt like I was Anthony over here. I did.
We are.
Yeah. What am I doing? But
So what did you do, me?
I remember I was talking, and I was just like, you have all the tools right inside. Everything you need, it's all in there. Where'd that stuff come from?
Gotta stop giving attention to the story.
It just flowed.
Yeah, it's a frequency. It's not me. It's not that me and Dave were talking about this recently. It's not always that even if you recite someone's quote, it's a frequency. You're connected into the frequency is what it is. There's no original thoughts. So no one actually owns quotes or words. Or when you say it's me, it's not me, because it didn't come from Anthony.
Right.
It came from source, the same source you are. So when you remember, it's only because I'm a neural being and you're a neural being, and we're meant to help each other remember. As I remember, you remember. As you remember, I remember.
Yeah.
That was nice.
Yeah.
How'd it taste?
But here, I do want to share this, though, because, and this is a quote from my sales hero, Zig Ziglar, absolutely. And his quote is, if you help enough other people get what they want out of life, you're going to get everything that you want.
Yeah. And this takes us back into Christianity. Be of service to others.
What are we here for? To serve.
Yeah, that's what I'm here for.
To serve.
Aini. You get back what you give out.
Yes, sir.
Because I understand by serving others, and that's why I've dedicated my life to what I'm doing. We were talking a little bit off camera. People think I'm nuts because I left behind a 6-figure business to become a missionary.
No.
And I got to tell you, it isn't easy.
Oh,
It still isn't sometimes.
I bet.
But I know what I'm doing. I know what it's worth.
Right on.
Far more than any amount of gold, any amount of silver, any amount of green paper. It's worth so much more because my soul is free. More free than I've ever been. So it doesn't matter if I have holes in my socks, if I ride a skateboard instead of a car. Doesn't matter. I'm already as wealthy as I can be.
Because I tell you, just the transformation that I have seen in you, it's not mind-blowing now.
It's almost bizarre, right?
It's like, when I
What
tell
happened?
people, and they meet you, I'm like, oh yeah, this dude, he was like a power lifter, and it's amazing, and I didn't even know all the medical issues that you going on with you.
Yeah, I was hiding them.
But man, the transformation is mind-blowing. So it's like, and especially a guy like myself, when you were speaking to me about spirituality and how your life has changed, because you didn't put anything on me. I know you didn't do that, but you were just telling me your story, and I'm like, wow, yeah, this is legit all day long because I saw with my own 2 eyes, and
You didn't just do that, Marcus. You could feel it. I watched you feel. I remember the day, and I remember we were talking. It was outside your garage. I was over fixing your air conditioner or something, and I remember talking to you. I remember you looking at me, and I already could kind of hear your thoughts, and you were kind of like, "Wow, what's happened here? Like, this is so intriguing. I want to know more." And you were telling me without your mouth, "Tell me more." And so I'm sharing the story. I'm sharing with you. This is what's happened, my brother. This is what's happened, and you're just like, "Wow." And then you're like, what can it, it takes you right back to, I can do that.
Yeah.
What can I do?
Right.
Anything.
Right.
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 Yeah.
Yeah, man.
That was amazing. I'll never forget that day. I remember you taking it all in, and I left. I think I was with Raisa that day.
You were.
And we took off, and she's extremely intuitive. And she said to me, she's like, did you see all that energy he was taking in? I'm like, oh yeah. I was like, it's starting. Something's starting there. Something's opening up. But that's just how you're talking about. It's how light spreads. Because this is sharing a story.
Yeah.
You can share your story, your voice, your unique voice into this world. It can get somebody to think one new thought.
Yeah.
Thoughts are energy forms, okay? And that has everything to do with our vibration. So like you said, I can speak and help change vibration. If you can do that, then you can help not one, but maybe hundreds of thousands of people. One new thought. Marcus, if you can get one person to think one new thought, you've changed the world.
Yeah.
That's true. That's how important it is, the things that people do.
Yeah.
Why do I do what I do?
Why do I do what I do?
Wow. This has been great, man. I'm taking in, because while I'm talking, I know like some of the things I'm saying, it sounds like I've read a book, and I'm telling you, I'm channeling. So Anthony's kind of always listening too, like, yeah, that's right, I agree. It's like it talks through us kind of thing. It's amazing.
Wow.
I am.
All right, so that's what you want to happen. Yeah. Create a new world.
And of course, our other businesses and things like that. Because with our trucking company, I do have a definite goal, and that is to be one of the most recognizable, reliable, profitable, trucking companies here in Northeast Ohio. That is for
Well, when you need all those big tax write-offs, don't forget about us.
we're gonna need them.
I love it.
We're gonna need them.
I love it. I love it.
Right on.
I love you so much, Marcus, and I'm so glad. I'm looking forward to you coming back on here so we can have more parts.
Part 2.
We're going to continue on our path. All of us are continuing on our path of ascension and mastery of self. So wherever we are now is going to look really different in a little bit of time. Okay, so it'll be nice for us to come back and talk about where we were then and where we're going and where we are.
Yes, sir.
Those are beautiful things. Marcus, is there anything you want to promote, plug? put it out there. This is the place. And if not, you might as well at least practice because.
Well, here, I will say this much because of the influence that it's had on my life. Oh, you know what, guys? We didn't even talk about my heck of an experience.
Oh, here. Yeah.
Well, let's touch it. Let's go ahead. Let's talk about
That
it.
was fun.
I'll tell
I wasn't
you
sure
guys-
you wanted to talk about it.
No, I'm good with it.
It came up earlier when you were talking about you have profound experiences, and I was just thinking about that one.
That's exactly
That's
what
what you were
popped into
thinking
And
my
I was
head,
like,
too.
yeah, we'll wait to see if he talks about it.
Well,
Yeah.
you know what? I'll just tell you what I experienced, and then you guys can give your side of what you
Okay.
saw.
That was
But-
cool.
Yeah, but in that breath work, it was just I'm sitting right up front here, and the bowls were there, and I can't recall exactly what you said.
We were doing a vertical column type energy work coming from the belly up into the head. And so I had your awareness moving energy and breath up your spine, up into your head. And then I had you hold your breath and slowly release it.
And we just watched your energetic field expand and expand and expand, and then whoosh,
Yeah.
and you fell out.
Yep.
Yeah.
I fell back.
Bonk.
The only thing, the next thing I remember is I opened my eyes and Tony's over. I'm looking right at Tony and I'm on my back.
You just started laughing.
Yeah. He opens up one eye and he looks at me and goes, "What's up?" Because what happened is he did like just how Dave said. That's what I saw too. I just saw his whole energy field separate from his body, and his body just went keeled over. And then there was a lady. She had like a water bottle there, this metal water bottle. His head bounces off of it, bing, and he's down. And I know what's going on. I know I'm not worried. I'm like, he's just traveling. He'll be back. The lady behind him is mortified and terrified. And I'm like, and then my guides are like, maybe you should do something. And I'm like, okay.
Sit here and laugh.
I was just trying to keep going. Like, he's going to be okay. Like, there's some things you don't have to intervene with. But since he was, the lady behind him was so afraid, Mary got over there, and then I came over there, and then I just called you back to your body. I said, come on back. And he came back to your body, and then his eye opens up and looks at me and goes, "What's up?"
And that was right at the beginning.
Yeah, right at
It
the
just
beginning.
started.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of energy.
Oh, that was fantastic.
That was a cool experience.
Yeah.
There'll be more.
Oh, I know. I know, because I've had some pretty good experiences.
Wait till you come into one of our healing circles.
Yeah.
Yeah, this next Saturday
Oh,
too.
man.
Yeah?
There's the next one. You
Yeah,
should
that's
be there.
that is very intense. I think that will be very powerful for you.
That'll probably be the most intense, energetic experience. you've ever
it'll
had.
definitely.
Really?
Some of
Hands
ours.
down.
So I've been doing this for a little bit now. I work with a bunch of different people,
Yeah.
and the last one that I did trumped the first one. And these are like things that are like peak experiences in my priesthood.
And
Yeah.
it trumped the Hatun Karpa, our
The last
our
one
great
did, yeah.
initiation.
The way that felt, the energy, the amazing energy that was there, the people that were there, and you know how it finished off? Finished off with me laying on the table and everybody putting their hand on me and doing energy for me and prayer for me. And then when I came back into my body, a hawk flew over. Whoosh, all of us.
Don
It was a
Benito.
beautiful blessing. Yeah.
Well, I'm in.
I know you
Next
are.
Tuesday at 2, Wolf Picnic area in Bay.
It's Tuesday?
Or next Saturday
Okay.
at 2.
I would say Tuesday. I'll do them on Tuesday. I'm not afraid of that. Tuesday.
Next Saturday at 2.
And next Saturday at 2, Wolf Picnic area. Yeah.
Guys, thank you so much for just having me here.
Thank you.
It's our pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so
for
much,
sharing your
Marcus.
Medicine.
Marcus, you're my brother from the Cosmic Mother.
Right on. Right on.
I love you so much.
I love you.
Dave, thank you so much for being a co-creator here, and I appreciate you and love you so much.
Love you
And this
too.
is awesome.
Yes.
We're co-creators in life.
I want to thank you all so much for giving us your time and attention. I send you the deepest love. We send you the deepest love.
Nike Kiyaki.
A Nike
Arpita
Kuyaiki.
Sankolai.
Arpichai Sonkolai. Bye-bye.
This has been the Quantum Shamans presented by Moshe with David and Anthony. We look forward to seeing you next week for more insight into who you are and your place in the universe.